Davy McPhail's fly patterns have filled the boxes of fly fishers all over the world. His daddy longlegs crane fly helped inspire this adult crane fly imitation, the king crane daddy. A simple pattern that makes skating an adult crane fly atop the water's surface as effective as it is exciting. A larger standard dry fly hook will suit you fine for this one, but one with a wider gape could always be considered. 140 Ultra Thread in natural colors will get us started with a base back to the hook point. There, we'll tie in the most distinguishable characteristic of this fly, knotted pheasant tail fibers. Putting a knot into pheasant tail takes a bit of practice and patience, but once perfected, will allow you to tie a bunch of these legs for using whenever you need it. For this step, we'll need some pheasant tail and a bodkin. That's it. Tear an individual fiber from a pheasant tail and hold the butt section in your offhand. Push the tip of the fiber back over itself and it should form a natural loop. Pinch the fiber where it crosses itself and pull the tip section more towards the middle. Then slide your bodkin through the loop and over the tip section of the feather before prying it towards the hole with the tip of your bodkin. Once through, you can pull it tight with your fingers to create the knot. Repeat this process with the same feather fiber for double knotted legs, but I've yet to find a trout that's upset with only one. Grab 6 legs or so, measuring them to be about the length of the hook shank, and tie them in at the back of the hook in random orientations. Spread the fibers with your fingers and sneak a few thread wraps in between a few of them to ensure their separation. Next, grab a pack of tan 1/8 inch foam cylinders. Use a lighter to singe the back end of the foam by applying pulses of heat and using your fingers to roll the foam into a bit of a taper. This foam body can be as long as you like. Tie it in at the back and trim the tag end so that about a hook eye of the hook shank remains open. Then bring your thread back to the original tie-in point. We're going to add a set of wings next, using the tips of 2 hackle feathers. I think grizzly feathers look the best here. I'm going to use a bleached grizzly from a mini pack. Find 2 feathers with similarly sized tips and pluck them from the patch. Crisscross the feathers and hold them to the top side of the fly. I make mine the same length as the body. Make 1 or 2 wraps to capture the feathers in place and check their alignment from above to make sure they have the proper orientation on your fly. Then you can trim the excess and realign the feathers if they got a bit crooked before adding solid securing wraps to the middle of the bug's body. Make sure you don't discard the remaining hackle feather. We'll need that here again in just a bit. For the body, I'm using a light brown silk dubbing. This is a very strong dubbing with a soft texture. Very easy to dub onto a thread. Get a small noodle started and begin wrapping towards the original tie-in point so that the dubbing begins at the back of the fly. Work your thread forward, tightening the dubbing onto the thread if necessary as you go. Make a nice even body of the fly before stopping again just before the hook eye to allow a few more materials. The first one is that original hackle feather from when we tied in the wings. Preen the tips rearward and trim the tip to leave a small triangle, just like you would prepare to tie a soft hackle. Tie this triangle in just in front of the dubbing and make 2 wraps of hackle, pulling the fibers back after each half wrap around the hook. Try to make sure none of them get caught facing forward. Capture the hackle feather with a few wraps over the top and then a few wraps in front before trimming the excess hackle for good this time. Finally, we're going to crown the king crane daddy with a beautiful sunburst deer hair wing. Trim a small clump of hair from the patch and comb out all the under fur from the butt ends. Transfer the fur to your favorite hair stacker and let it go to work. Once you get the hair out of your stacker, comb through it once more and flick out any remaining short fibers with your fingers. This is the best way to make a nice, solid deer or elk hair wing for any fly. Measure the deer hair to extend just beyond the hackle tip wings and transfer it to your offhand. With a really sharp pair of straight edge scissors, make a nice clean cut just in front of the tie-in point. Don't fiddle with these fibers when you bring it to the hook. Grab the butt ends with 1 or 2 loose wraps before firmly pulling the thread towards yourself. It's always so satisfying to watch that head flare up in front. Hold them nice and strong with your pinch wrap when you tie them down. Advance your thread through the flared out deer hair fibers and firmly pull on the thread after each wrap. Once you get to the front, you can admire your perfect deer hair wing before adding a whip finish and trimming your thread. The king crane daddy is effective skated along a shoreline or drifted over a seam. Make sure you have a few in various sizes to match the crane flies on your home waters. Ask your local fly shop to stock up on all these Larva Lace products to get them tied up right. You can always call Lori or go to hagensfish.com to get started. The entire Hagen's catalog is online and so easy to scroll through. Skip to page 204 for their fly fishing supplies section. When you're needing some inspiration, check out Fly Tying University on Facebook. Tie, fish, and post about your experiences for the betterment of the fly fishing community. Larva Lace is a proud partner of the Fish Stories Archive. We can preserve our fishing stories for the future at fishstories.org. Thanks for tying along with Larva Lace. Here's to tight lines and flies that just catch fish.